Have the invocation? Stand. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, I'd like to take a vote on adding this memorandum to the agenda. Oh. I call the meeting to order. Okay. I'd like to take a vote on adding this memo to the agenda, area construction.
I move that we add it to the agenda.
I have a second.
Second.
To item three.
Item 3. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Item 1 is the approval of the agenda.
I move that we approve the agenda as presented. Oh, adding the area multifamily construction.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Number 2, TX 23.11.01. Staff requests a text amendment to the amended Article 21.3 fee in lieu of incorporate streetscape requirements. And B, okay, statement.
Yeah. Hello. Thank you, Planning Board. So this is TX 231101. This is for streetscape and fee in lieu. At the 2023 council retreat, the council identified a few priorities about streetscape. They wanted to adopt the streetscape plan and they wanted to incorporate it into the ordinance. So, and there was a few rationales. The DFI study wanted to incorporate streetscape as well, and council authorized staff to work on a text amendment to incorporate streetscape. We already have a plan called the Greenway Master, well, it's called the Stallings Parks and Recreation Greenway Master Plan, but I'm gonna call it Greenway Master Plan today. That Greenway Master Plan is a separate plan that is required to be, when a developer comes in that has an identified greenway, they're required to install that or pay a fee in lieu. So I thought of, when I was thinking about incorporating the streetscape, I wanted to incorporate it in that same section. So I did incorporate it into the Article 21.3 fee in lieu, and I redid the entire fee in lieu section to incorporate a required fee in lieu that's already required, to require greenway from the Greenway Master Plan that's already required, and then now requiring streetscape where the streetscape plan identifies as well. So the new suggested amendment is in, there's a purpose. So now there's a purpose, though. The funds are going to be used for the construction and maintenance of public facilities and services needed to serve new development. There's applicability, excuse me, still have some food in my mouth, excuse me. It's required for all new developments that require a major site plan review. And the fee in lieu requirement is still unchanged. You're still required to pay fee in lieu or do these two improvements. The fee schedule has changed to add residential and commercial separately, with different fees as well, and there's an explanation of how to calculate the fees. But the fee is very similar to the previous fee in lieu. There's exemptions where developments that are owned and operated by government agencies are exempt, and developments not requiring major site development plan review are exempt. So, for example, anything under 4 lots would not be a major site plan review, and so they wouldn't be required to follow this section. Or like a single homeowner wouldn't be required to follow this section. But a major development, like a huge subdivision or a commercial project, would be required to.
But they were required already, right? So
Correct.
this isn't a new.
Correct,
deal,
yes.
right.
So it's just kind of rewriting it to make sure that it's more clear. And then the 21.3-6 is the requirements to install the Greenway Master Plan items and the Streetscape Plan items. And there's a timing of improvement where we would require these items to be installed prior to 60% certificate of occupancy.
Prior to what?
60% of the certificate of occupancy.
right,
So,
okay.
for example, if a residential subdivision was to locate in an area that identified the greenway or a streetscape, they would be required to install that improvement prior to anything past 60% certificate of occupancy.
Is there a legal standard for adequate surety, or is that up to staff discretion?
I don't know if there's a legal requirement. I did have legal review this ordinance and they found that it was legal. But I don't know that in detail. Yeah. And then I also have the original fee and lieu section right here. It's a little bit shorter, not as detailed as the new amendment suggestions. But staff recommends approval of TX 23-1101. It accomplishes the goals of the council 2023 retreat. It also creates requirements for the streetscape. I also have future considerations here. This is mostly for council to consider incorporating the streetscape design in town-owned parcels in the future.
What did you just say about the council?
Yeah, so there are some future considerations here. This is actually from the retreat document. Originally, we requested council think about installing streetscape design standards in town-owned parcels. At the time, we determined there was no funding. They didn't want to add funding into the budget to incorporate streetscape design. So I just want to bring it to the council for future considerations that we're going to continue bringing it up. Thinking about incorporating streetscape design in front of town hall or other town-owned properties. Do you have any questions? Yeah.
Of course I do. Okay, so if a developer comes in and is gonna subdivide into 50 lots, but it's not on the greenway plan or the streetscape design area, so
They would still be required to pay fee in lieu. So
what would they be paying?
there's a calculation right here. So for example, it sounds like it would be a residential lot that
Yeah.
we're discussing.
Yeah,
So they'd have to pay 1/35 of an acre per property tax value. So for example, if their property tax per acre was $10,000, they pay 1/35 of that times how many lots they're building. And that's in this section right here. I can zoom in a little bit so it's kind of easier to see. 21 point.
But again, that's not new, that's already in existence.
Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So what's actually, I mean, bottom line is, what is the delta, what's the change?
Just incorporating the streetscape
Yeah,
design.
so, okay, so, yeah.
Trying to get rid of this.
So essentially, that's what we're voting on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just organizing it to make it more clear. Because originally, the fee in lieu wasn't as clear that every single development in town was required to pay the fee in lieu.
Okay.
I think that it's too low.
Okay.
I think 100 lot subdivision, value of 10,000 per lot, they'd pay $28,000. That's nothing. I mean, we can't build that part of the greenway for that.
Yeah, correct. I just kept it the same as what the calculation was prior. If you would like to make a recommendation that we increase the fee, I'll research it and I'll bring back a couple options for council to consider for the fee schedule increasing.
Definitely.
Yep.
I don't know how to make,
I'll talk to
I don't
legal
know that,
about it.
that 1/35 thing is like, get my calculator out, I couldn't quite understand it until I saw the example. But I don't know how to, I don't know what to,
That was just for green,
It was just for the greenway. Yep.
so that would have made sense.
Streetscape's a little more expensive than greenway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When they did that, and they did that, that's when they did the new. That in, was that put in, I guess that was put in there when we did the new plan,
Sorry, I'm not following. I apologize.
UDO, whatever, when we did that.
So yes,
That was put in then.
when we adopted the Greenway Master Plan, I think that was in 2019.
It
I'm not
was
sure.
a while.
The fee schedule was amended, let me just pull this, in May, oh, it was 2021. May 10th, 2021.
That's why I don't.
The Greenway plan was adopted into the ordinance with the fee in lieu. And so now we're just doing the same thing with streetscape. I just reorganized it to make it more clear for developers, staff, the public.
That does make sense, because it was just for the.
And now we do the streetscape. So yeah, I'll bring, if you wanted to make a vote to recommend, it's up to you. I'm just making a suggestion. Recommend an approval of the fee and loose with options to increase the fee at the council meeting. I'll bring a few options to them. And I'll talk to staff. I'll do some research on surrounding municipalities.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, that seems like, that's nothing to somebody building a
Yeah.
100 lot subdivision.
And well, they still be paying review fees as well, but I didn't incorporate those kind of fees in this.
Yeah, yeah, but, I mean, so then you would have money to do streetscape, maybe not a lot, but I don't know how to suggest something like double it. Is
Okay.
what I would
I
say.
can bring an option that's a few options, like the regular that we are showing. I can bring a medium option. I could bring a more comparable cost for streetscape calculation as well.
Yeah, yeah, at least.
But that's not within our
You can make a recommendation that staff bring
increase?
to increase
the fees?
Yeah, you can.
Okay. Would you like to make that motion? Any other
okay.
questions? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Would, if, that was recommended, would it circle back through this committee?
No.
again? No, okay, that would just be, okay.
Council.
You can make the recommendation that come back to planning board, but the council's goal is to incorporate the streetscape requirements by the end of the year, so they would not be meeting that goal. But that is, I don't, it's up to you guys if you want to make that recommendation.
Okay, I move to approve this request with the exception of the amount of the fees, which is the fee in lieu, 21.3-4, the fee schedule should be increased
Do I have a second?
I'll
So how
second.
would we word that? Is that
Yes.
we're requesting staff to provide options to town council
Options to town
on
council.
fee adjustments?
Yeah.
Like potential.
Thank you for doing
Add
that.
that to my,
Potential increase of the fees, okay.
I'll second
I'm okay
that.
with that, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
So who's seconding?
I'll second.
Who's thirding?
Since he-
Thirding?
He'll third and fourth.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, and then
Adopt the statement of reasonableness?
yeah, I forgot to show you the map, but this is where
Okay.
the streetscape will be required.
Wait, what,
I apologize.
oh, on
for-
the red?
Yeah.
line? Oh, okay.
The green was.
Red, green, and
white.
blue. So this is not a new thing, but I just wanted to kind of put it on a map for everybody to see. I apologize, forgot to show it to you earlier. But yeah, now it's the statement of consistency and reasonableness.
Oh. Anybody?
I move that we adopt the statement of consistency and reasonableness as presented.
With the,
Finding that it is reasonable and consistent.
Yes.
Yeah, you can, that works. And then, so you have a first, second?
I'll second.
I don't know.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to point out for you.
It's that sandwich.
It's much easier to do it all in one.
That's easier.
It is a lot easier.
Okay. Number 3, memorandum from area multifamily construction.
Yeah, so I'll give you a little bit of history on this. The development agreement for ARIA was, I think ARIA came to the town in 2019 wanting to construct. They have an approved development agreement with vested rights to build multifamily apartments off of Idlewild and behind that shopping
Where is
center.
this?
Get behind that
The
shopping
Harris
center.
Teeter Shopping Center on Idlewild.
Right.
It's behind there.
Behind Vickery
Oh,
as well.
oh, okay.
So they have
Fronting, yeah.
vested
Got it.
rights. They got their construction documents and their final plat approved this year. They started
good.
construction. The development agreement specifically states that any aesthetic changes, like the facade, would have to be approved by the development administrator and the planning board. So that's why the applicant is here tonight, to amend the facades. I'm gonna let the applicant talk about what their changes are. I'm, under this, I don't wanna approve facades. I don't think it's, I think it's gonna want them to have that conversation with you. If you guys wanna approve it, I'll approve it as well. Or if you want further discussion, that's up for you, to make the decision. But I'll leave it up to the applicant, to come up and.
My name's Megan Connolly. I'm with ARIA. Thank you for fitting me in tonight. I apologize for the last second request. And I'm very short right now, actually, too. Sorry.
Welcome to the club.
Lifelong issue. So it's a really simple request, but it makes a big difference. So basically what we have in the plans currently are dark oil rub bronze windows, which I know doesn't sound like much, but it's almost black in color. I don't know if you've ever gone to Home Depot and picked out curtain rods, but that's usually where they end up confusing us is this is black, this is stainless steel, this is dark oil rub bronze. So I just recently joined the company and I'm kind of jumping in last minute saying, hey, I don't think you realize that these windows are gonna look like prison bars. Because it's not just the framing, it's gonna be the little grids that go across the glass as well. So right now, we've got approval, and it's fine, if we need to stick with it, we can. But I just personally feel like it looks very dark, very bar-like on the windows to have this dark oil rub bronze look. Most houses have white grids, and they're vinyl windows, so it's real simple. It doesn't obstruct the view when you're looking out at the trees or the yard. So that's typically what you would go with a residential house or a building. So that's what I'm suggesting is that we switch the color from dark oil rub bronze to white. I know it seems silly, but it would make a really big.
You're saying all of the windows here are now bronze?
They will be, yes, ma'am. We haven't ordered them yet, so we're trying to, that's why the last minute request, I want to see if we can change it to white before. But if you look at the grid, you'll see all these dark little squares. That's what the effect is going to be if we keep it that color. If we do white, you'll barely even notice it. Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine. I just
Thank
wanted
you.
to show you. So this is the before
Yes.
pictures,
All
and
those
this is the
lines.
after. I also, if you don't mind, I'm sorry, I pulled up the already approved apartment complexes. This is one's off Chestnut. They have the white rim as well. So I don't know if this is exactly what you're presenting, but I just wanted to give you all an idea of the apartment complexes that are already in town.
It is. You're correct.
Okay.
Thank you
So
for
the
that.
frame right now is bronze also?
Yeah, the outside and the grid would be bronze.
Wow.
Which,
There it is. So this is
most of the time when
before.
do that, they don't have grid in them, I don't think, like in
These ones will.
Fancy
When it click,
houses.
you can show before.
Exactly. The more,
fancy house.
the
Yeah.
fancy houses, yes, and they usually don't have the dark grid lines. So we're not super fancy,
like
but we want to fit in better. We know that most towns don't love apartment buildings getting shot up. We understand that. So I want it to fit in as best it can and look real nice and simple.
So,
So your company said if you want the change, you have to come here,
Yes.
right? Personally.
I drove an hour and 15 minutes to do this.
Oh my gosh.
I know it sounds silly, but it will make a huge difference. It's very important to me.
are there any other differences?
The material, instead of it being I forget the verbiage, I apologize. Instead of it being a certain type of metal, it's basically vinyl. Same thing you'd use in any house or apartment building, but that's it. It's more of an aesthetic thing. The big reason why I want it changed is aesthetics. The only two other reasons that I'll be very transparent with you about with the window change is it will take double the time to get them delivered if we order them because of supply chain issues. My husband works in supply chain, so I get to hear about it all day long. It's a very real issue. The other is it's $179,000 more.
Yeah.
I'm just being really honest with you. They're a lot more expensive and they don't look as good. So,
Front of that. I mean,
Which
the
neighborhood?
expensive one? Yes, Vickery.
Oh,
I'm trying to think what some of those houses have for, just for out of curiosity. Yeah, see if there's, I can't remember. I hadn't
not
been out
driven
there in a
through it
while.
yet, no.
I'm gonna move over here just because the computer's over here.
Just for curiosity, just, you know,
I agree with that idea.
that's, would back up to some of that.
oh, yeah, that's right, it's right there.
Yeah, it backs up to,
There's no apartments right near there. It's all residential, single-family homes. And it's really close.
yeah, and then there's that Blair Mill, I
Old Blair
guess,
Mill,
up from
yeah.
that.
Got Harris Teeter and restaurants right there. It's super cute.
I can't remember what those houses have. Some of them do, that looks white over there.
Yeah, I
doesn't it?
don't think they're all the same. They're,
That's white, that other one.
yeah.
Type of window to use for any colors is the truth of it.
My
Yeah, I mean,
my
I like
neighborhood's the
the-
next one over and they're all white windows.
Yeah,
there,
like
too,
mine are all
so-
white. I like the
yeah.
dark. It's just that most times I see them, it's in a different style of window, not just a regular window.
Yeah, it has a very specific look with the rest
Yeah.
of the house design.
Yeah.
Tudors, industrial, farmhouse chic, that kind of stuff. You should
Yeah, yeah.
We don't want it to look industrial.
No. Yeah, Blair Mills are white. I know they're white. I remember riding through there recently.
I don't know how they chose the original color in the first place, if I'm just being really transparent again. I'm coming in here and kind of causing some problems of certain things, stirring the pot a little, but they told me if I can convince.
Oh, show me that other apartment you said that you pulled at the other apartment building that you had. Yeah,
I think this is
yeah.
complexes that.
Yeah,
complex we have
that we
built.
have,
We
yeah.
have a 55 and up apartment complex, but that's
Yeah, it is different.
On Indian
okay,
Trail's
I
not
see
too far
that
from
one.
there, and they look very.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can have, are you gonna have patios out on this? And that's gonna be white also?
The railings will be black just because they're metal, but wall colors and everything will be white.
Black railings on bronze windows probably would have clashed anyway.
I know, I know, I'm thinking that's a lot of dark, but
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah, very.
Any other questions?
I move we approve the request.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Saved her job, that's good.
That was pretty easy. It's kind of a no-brainer. Tell you the truth. I scribbled on that piece.
it says number 9, but it's number 4.
I make the motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. 29